What is good, YouTube? It's your favorite senpai back with another video. Yesterday marked the official reveal of College Football 25, and in honor of that, we're diving into the first ever 12-team college football playoffs. If you missed the trailer reveal, don't worry, I got you covered. Check out what you missed in this link right here. Also, be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. Make sure to hit the bell for the notifications so you get all of my latest updates. I told y'all, man, I got a special surprise for y'all, so if you really want to find out what it is, stay tuned till the end of the video. I can't be the only one who's been wondering, what would happen if we had a 12-team playoff last year, right? Well, I went ahead and created the brackets, set up the matchups, and simulated the first ever college football playoff 12-team national championship. Now here's a quick rundown of the matchups. Number 12 Oklahoma will be visiting number 5 Florida State, number 11 Ole Miss at number 6 Georgia, number 10 Penn State at number 7 Ohio State, and number 9 Missouri at number 8 Oregon. We have two conference rivalries in there, people. Now, I'm sure you're wondering, okay, cool, you made the bracket, but how do we know how it plays out? Well, thanks to whatifsports.com, we can take last year's teams, customize a few settings, and run a simulation. For the sake of time and chaos, I'm only running each game simulation once. Here we are in the simulation lab for our first game of the day, the Oregon Ducks versus the Missouri Tigers. We are using Pro Football Reference for our stats, and that will determine what playbook we will use for each respective team. Let's go ahead and get this started, man. Home game for the Oregon Ducks. Let's see what happens. There you have it, folks. Our first game of the playoffs is in the books. The Oregon Ducks take this one 38-17. Just a quick review of a couple of stats. As you can see in the third quarter, it was pretty close, 24-17 for Oregon, but in the fourth quarter, they hunkered down and they pulled it off with two late touchdowns, one from Trayshawn Holden, a pass from Bo Nix, and a late run by Bucky Irvin. Clearly, this game was taken over by Troy Franklin as he was unguardable. 5 receptions, 98 yards, 2 touchdowns, with Bo Nix going 30 for 40, 351 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And what really killed Missouri was Cody Schrader just could not get it going on the ground. 25 carries for 57 yards. Now, he did have 2 touchdowns, which I'm pretty sure came close to the goal line, but you cannot run the ball that terribly. Oregon moves on to the next round. Once again, that's 38-17. Let's go ahead back to our headquarters and plug that score in. The Oregon Ducks taking it 38-17, and they will face Michigan. In our next matchup, we're going to have Florida State versus Oklahoma. Now, we know the Florida State Seminoles would have been without Jordan Travis due to his catastrophic injury. However, I feel it's unfair to not put the full strength team in there. We want to see if Florida State would have been able to take it all the way, so I will allow Jordan Travis to be in this game. Now, let's go ahead and get it underway. And we just got our first upset of the college football playoffs. The Oklahoma Sooners knocking off the Florida State Seminoles 30-26. Now, see, now we can't argue. I put Jordan Travis in there, and somehow Oklahoma still did it. Once again, this is a simulation, but I am just as stunned as you guys. Oklahoma put the ball on the ground 48 times for 254 yards, 332 passing yards, an offensive explosion. For some reason, their defense really stepped up, but I guess that's the key trait of Brent Venables. Florida State just could not get it going. 45 rushes for 122 yards. Third down efficiency, terrible for both teams. 3 penalties, which could have been costly for Florida State. Let's go down and check out the individual stats. Walker for Oklahoma, 6 carries for 107 yards. Then you have Gavin Sawchuk for 14 carries, 86 yards. Jesus, Nick Anderson, you have 2 wide receivers for Oklahoma going over 100 yards. Jaheim Bell, only 3 catches. Johnny Wilson shut out. Keon Coleman locked up. Man, what was Brent Venables running to keep Florida State down like this? Jordan Travis still finished with 20 for 29, 197 yards and 3 touchdowns, but everything was underneath. Dylan Gabriel had a heck of a game, only completing 13 passes, but for big chunks of yardage. The ground game really sealed this one for Oklahoma. And once again, man, the Oklahoma Sooners get the upset, 30-26 in Tallahassee. Let's go ahead and plug that in. I did not see that coming. And you know what's ironic about this? Similar to March Madness, the 12 seeds usually take out the 5 seeds. Man, what an amazing start to the playoffs. The Oklahoma Sooners will be going on to take on the Alabama Crimson Tide in the quarterfinals. Next up, we got an SEC heavyweight slugfest between the Ole Miss Rebels and the Georgia Bulldogs. And we're back in the simulation lab. We have our third matchup of the day set up, the Georgia Bulldogs versus the Ole Miss Rebels. Georgia was fairly balanced on offense this year, and the Ole Miss Rebels lean a little bit more towards the run. Let's go ahead and not waste any more time. I'm so excited to see what happens in this one. And I have never seen a beatdown of this caliber since Joe Burrow going in on the Oklahoma Sooners. The Bulldogs of Georgia just completely thrash Ole Miss 66-10. What a terrible game. In the first quarter, they get out to a 17-3 lead, and then at that point, they just completely poured on. By halftime, it is 46-3, and I am so sorry, man. Lane Kiffin will get ran out of town for this performance. Third quarter, the Bulldogs are up 60-3. A little mercy touchdown for Quinshon Judkins. I can see why he's going to Ohio State now. And the Bulldogs finish it off with 2 field goals, winning 66-10. We really don't even need to analyze these stats because this is terrible, but just for statistics, Daijun Edwards running for 196 and 2 touchdowns. Brock Bowers doing what he does. Carson Beck, 25-34, 384, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. And Jackson Dart going 20-32 for 201 with 2 picks, and you can see why. Look at the sacks by Georgia. The defense was relentless, and that's how Georgia teams are built, on defense. Daijun Edwards is the player of the game. There's nothing else to say about this one. Ole Miss got an old-fashioned beatdown. They should not have been in this playoff. Oh my God, man. Georgia moving on to the next round. Let's just hurry up and get that done. I did not expect that game to go that way. But Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs are sending a warning to the Texas Longhorns, who they will face in the quarterfinals. We have finally made it to our fourth first-round matchup of the day, Penn State Nittany Lions versus Ohio State Buckeyes. Of course, both of these teams are very familiar with each other. Penn State favoring the run, Ohio State being mostly balanced. Let's go ahead and jump right into this game. My prediction is Ohio State is going to win a close one. And my prediction could not be any more wrong. The Ohio State Buckeyes dominate a familiar foe, make it look easy. They jump out to a 21-3 lead in the first quarter, pile another 17 on before the half. They go up 38-10 at the half and finish this game 48-10. Guys, let me just scroll down to the bottom because I don't know if you see that 484 passing yards. Kyle McCord, something he did not do at all this year, but for some reason, when the lights shined the brightest, he wanted to show off 33 of 43, 484 passing yards, and 6 touchdowns. The Ohio State defensive line was wreaking havoc with 4 sacks. There's nothing more to say about this game. I'm just as shocked as you are. They made it look very easy. They're going on to the next round to face the Washington Huskies in the quarterfinals. We are all set for the quarterfinal playoff matchups. We have Michigan versus Oregon, Oklahoma versus Bama, Texas versus Georgia, and Ohio State versus Washington. Put your predictions at the bottom, and when you get to the end of the video, we will see if you guys got it correctly. Who will claim the national championship of the first college football playoff that features 12 teams? And we have now made it to our first quarterfinal matchup, the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which will be between the Michigan Wolverines and the Oregon Ducks. I checked out the stats a little bit, and the Michigan Wolverines do favor the run. Blake Corum leading that rushing attack, not to mention J.J. McCarthy, who's dangerous with his legs, and Donovan Edwards. I'm expecting Michigan to dominate this one on defense, keep Oregon off the field, and win this game with a great ground attack. We're neutral site games. Let's go ahead and see how this one plays out. And ladies and gentlemen, we had a close one in our first quarterfinal matchup. The Michigan Wolverines will take this one over the Oregon Ducks 28-24. It was a back and forth matchup all the way, and then Blake Corum capped it off. 14 minutes left in the fourth quarter to take the lead for good, 28-24. And then that fearsome Michigan defense just completely dominated the rest of the way. Michigan controlled this game on the ground, 46 rushes for 233 yards. Let's check out some individual stats. We got Blake Corum going for 149. Benjamin Hall, 6 carries, 42 yards, and a touchdown. Bucky Irvin, not too bad. Not too many things in the receiving department for Michigan except for Roman Wilson, 2 touchdowns. J.J. McCarthy, pretty efficient, 16-26 for 181, 2 touchdowns. Bo Nix did the best he could with a 345-yard performance and 2 touchdowns, but it was not enough as Michigan will move on to the semifinals. Let's go back to headquarters and plug that in. Michigan the winner in this one, 28-24. And here we are with our second quarterfinal of the day, the All-State Sugar Bowl between the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Oklahoma Sooners. Both teams would like to dictate the pace of the game on the ground, but I'm expecting Jalen Milroe to be the X factor that'll get the Crimson Tide to win. This should be a great defensive matchup on a neutral field. Let's go ahead and simulate and see how it goes. Ladies and gentlemen, Oklahoma keeps their Cinderella story going. Brent Venables and the Sooners completely shocked the Alabama Crimson Tide and their faithful 28-17. That is a second upset here in the college football playoffs. Something about that Brent Venables defense is just getting these guys the win. They finished this 28-17. Alabama tried to rally late with 14 points in the fourth quarter, but they just could not get it done. They were terrible on third down, 5 of 14. 2 penalties. Time of possession, Oklahoma completely dominated that. Let's go and look at the individual stats. Walker with another great game on the ground for Oklahoma. Milroe ran the ball 14 times for 46 yards. Alabama just could not get that ground game going. Man, Dylan Gabriel, not really wowing, just great efficiency taking care of the ball. 15-19, 237 for a touchdown. And Milroe had a pretty good game passing as well, 13-20 for 270 yards and a touchdown. Will Reichert making a field goal, but Oklahoma just found a way to win this one. Nothing special in the statistics that really gives it away. They just controlled the time of possession and converted their third downs when it mattered the most. Oklahoma with another upset, 28-17 over Alabama. I don't believe anyone expected this, but those Sooner fans are going crazy as they advance to the semifinal. Our next matchup is the Rose Bowl out there in Pasadena between the Texas Longhorns and the Georgia Bulldogs. Another quarterfinal matchup that truly excites me. My prediction is the Texas Longhorns are going to take this one with just too much speed over the field with Xavier Worthy and Adonai Mitchell, but it seems like I've been wrong this whole simulation. Enough talk, let's go ahead and get it going. And we had another great quarterfinal matchup with the Texas Longhorns taking this one over Georgia, 24-21. Both SEC teams have been knocked out of the college football playoffs, and I'm sure the rest of the college football world is rejoicing. A very good game overall. Texas pulled away at the end of the fourth quarter with 11 points. As you can see right there, Jonathan Brooks, a 71-yard touchdown pass from Quinn Ewers. Now, I wonder if that was on a rail route or maybe a screen with a 2-point conversion. And then a field goal with 7 seconds left to take it. Georgia with the collapse at the end. Let's check out the individual stats. Jonathan Brooks with a hell of a game. 122 yards and a touchdown. Dejon Edwards, not to be outdone, 136, but no touchdowns. Jonathan Brooks also with 4 receptions for 101 yards. A big chunk of that coming from that 71-yard touchdown. Lad McConkey doing all that he could. Quinn Ewers, 20 for 29, 286 with a pick and a touchdown. Carson Beck having a great game, 341, 2 touchdowns. It was a great game overall. A lot of sacks for Georgia, man. This game could have went either way, but Texas just clutches it at the end, 24-21. Let's go ahead and put that in as the Texas Longhorns advance to the semifinals. Here we are at our fourth and final quarterfinal matchup, the Verbo Fiesta Bowl between the Washington Huskies and the Ohio State Buckeyes. We finally get to experience a team that favors the pass. Michael Penix Jr. with Rome Odunze, Jalen Polk. I can see why these guys want to throw the ball a lot. I don't think Ohio State has enough in the back end to keep up with Washington. I expect a high scoring game once again. I've mostly been wrong, but this time I think I'll nail it. Neutral site game. Let's go ahead and get this last quarterfinal underway. Talk about freaking fool's gold. What did the Washington Huskies do? Ohio State with another blowout victory, 63-37. I'm sorry, we just got to scroll down because if this is Kyle McCord acting a fool again, I just cannot believe it. 268 passing yards from Ohio State. No, they were fairly bad. Oh my God, 404 rushing yards. Michael Penix did all he could. Hold on, we got to see these stats. Dylan Johnson with a good game, 122. Travion Henderson and Dolan Hayden. Oh my God, talk about a dynamic duo. 182 yards for Henderson, 2 touchdowns, and Hayden 158 with 2 touchdowns. And then Chip, I don't know how to pronounce that last name, 62 rushing yards and a touchdown. Ohio State just dominated this game on the ground. And we had them set as balanced Romo Dunze had a great game. Michael Penix going 34 for 54, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns. And Kyle McCord still acted a fool. 17 for 23, 268 and 4 touchdowns. For whatever reason, Washington's rush defense was just the worst of all time. There's nothing more to say about this game. That was another shocker. The number 2 seed in the tournament has taken a loss 63 to 37 in favor of the Buckeyes. And now our semifinals are set. Number 1 Michigan versus number 12 Oklahoma, and number 3 Texas versus number 7 Ohio State. These were not my predictions, folks, but let's go ahead and get into it. We have now made it to our first semifinal, the Capital One Orange Bowl between the Michigan Wolverines and the Oklahoma Sooners. I'm not going to make any more predictions. Obviously, I'm bad at this. This has been a crazy day so far, especially with Oklahoma getting 2 upsets and being the 12 seed, making it all the way to the semifinals. Let's just go ahead and play the game and see what the hell happens. Are you not entertained? The Oklahoma Sooners again, 24-6 with all defense. They just beat the best defensive team in all of college football. 24-6. The offense couldn't get going for Harbaugh and JJ McCarthy. What more do you want from Brent Venables? I am truly stunned, folks. Truly stunned. Passing yards for the Wolverines, 240. They had the time of possession. They just couldn't get it done. Blake Corum had another good game on the ground. Oklahoma had a better day on the ground. Let's look at the quarterback stats. 20 for 33, JJ McCarthy. Dylan Gabriel only 16 to 21, 228, 2 touchdowns. I just don't understand it. Michigan just could not punch the ball in. Not a single touchdown. Not a single touchdown. Oklahoma gets it done. What more do you want? This has been a crazy damn simulation. You can say this isn't authentic or realistic, but this is entertaining to say the least. The Oklahoma Sooners are going to move on to the college football playoff national championship by the score of 6 to 24, or should I say 24 to 6. We are now ready to start our last semifinal matchup between the Texas Longhorns and the Ohio State Buckeyes in the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic in Arlington. Talk about a home field advantage for the Longhorns. This should be an exciting matchup. I'm going to take the Texas Longhorns in this one. The anticipation is building. Let's go ahead and get it started so we can see if we're officially going to get a Red River rivalry matchup in a national championship game. And there you have it. We will get that official Texas-Oklahoma matchup in the college football playoff national championship. The Longhorns hold on in this one 28-24. They went up early 21-0, had a little bit of trouble as Ohio State started to get things going, but they did just enough to hold on. Ohio State dominated with first downs, but Texas still somehow pulled this game out. They lost the time of possession. They lost the penalty yards. Both teams were about the same on third down. Texas had 129 yards on the ground. I guess they just had the lucky moments, man. Jonathan Brooks with another amazing game. He's kind of been the MVP of the playoffs for these guys. Quentin Ewers, 18 for 28, 265 and 2 touchdowns. Kyle McCord did everything he could once again. 342 yards and 3 touchdowns. A missed field goal by Jaden Fielding that kind of hurt Ohio State a little bit, but man, Texas just pulled it out. It was a balanced game. Just that first quarter, that blitzkrieg at the beginning helped them pull it out. Like I said, once again, it's going to be a Texas OU matchup. Man, this is going to make a lot of people mad depending on the winner of this national championship game. Let's hurry up and plug in this score so we can go ahead and get to it. Texas takes this one in the semifinal 28-24 in the Cotton Bowl Classic, and we are set. A national championship game between Oklahoma and Texas. Oklahoma has been the underdog, the lowest seed in this playoff the whole time, and they have proven that this system works. They got in at 12, and just like March Madness, they've made it all the way to the national championship against their biggest rival. How will this play out? Let's find out. The moment of truth. The college football playoff national championship between the Texas Longhorns and Oklahoma Sooners will finally be underway. Make your picks right now, folks. I have no clue who it'll be. Oklahoma has shocked me all the way up to this point. Texas has been real consistent, but all we know is that this is going to be a great game, and we will finally crown the first 12-team college football playoff national champion when I hit this play game button. Let's do it. And it's officially over. The Texas Longhorns are your college football playoff national champions with a 41-17 victory. They destroy the Oklahoma Sooners and make it look easy, going up 10-0 in the first quarter and just completely pouring it on. A 27-10 lead at the end of the third quarter and finishing it off 41-17. Texas dominated this game from start to finish. Another great performance by Jonathan Brooks as he even leads the team in receiving. Nick Anderson did a great job catching the ball for Oklahoma. Dylan Gabriel, 18-32, 266 yards and 2 touchdowns. But Quinn Ewers put up a better performance, 22 of 32, 365 and 2 touchdowns. 2 field goals made by Bert Arbin. Jonathan Brooks is the player of the game and the MVP of the trophy in the national championship game. Guys, this was a great and fun experience. I can't believe Texas pulled it off, but let's give some credit to Oklahoma because I never thought they would be here, but the Texas Longhorns have done it. 41-17, the college football playoff national champions in this simulation. Well, Senpai gang, that concludes today's video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. It took a lot of editing and getting the sources and all the different stuff, man. There was a lot of technicalities that I had to deal with, but I appreciate you guys for making it this far throughout the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and hit that bell for my notifications so you can get all of the latest updates. Told y'all we hit 500 subs. We will do a giveaway of NCAA 25 or College Football 25 for PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. If we can hit 600 or higher, then maybe both of those will be the deluxe edition. If you have anything to say, man, leave it down in the comments if you like this video. Other than that, it's your favorite senpai, and I'm out here till next time. Peace.